Your readings, I'm Les.
And I am Scandal.
And let's date some dragons together.
Yay.
Or have our friend awkwardly propose to us, and, suddenly out of the blue because he's panicking. It's fine.
And again, I'm very disappointed that I was really looking forward to
Friendship?
a really good, happy, healthy,
An actual real
heterosexual friendship. Because we are assuming, and then I'm pretty sure they established in the very beginning that you are a female character. You are a woman. You are a woman. I won't say female because that's a little bit biological essentialism there. But you are a woman character.
I don't think they actually tell us specifically, but they do say, she. So that we definitely use female pronouns and wear dresses because our dress got torn.
Like I said, biological essentialism. Let's not go there.
All right.
So
So yeah, she. We are.
We are a she.
We are a girl.
So what? In that case, it would be heterosexual because you are assuming that we are of the same gender. We are the same.
We are of opposite genders to our friend Corey.
Opposite.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, me.
Dragons.
What?
Everyone.
Nani? Nani the fuck?
Really? Ha! Ha! Ha!
Hi.
And then the music comes in dramatically.
Ooh.
And it's the spooky music. I love
Spoop.
it. The spooky music. Now, all of them.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Say what?
Say what? What? All of them. I love that they all say exactly the same word. I would love it though if the writers took a second to and say 3 different things like what? Huh? No way! Or something like that.
Right.
So that you have 3 different people.
Nope, they're all identical from the exact same world. So therefore they are all one experience.
Me and Corey? Married?
I mean...
Corey, you turned invisible. I mean, have you been drinking today?
It's because they're probably looking off at a corner going, this is awkward.
Sure.
Also, there's a level of, if you're engaging with the fact that my friend has been... we've actually mentioned this before in earlier episodes, where it's Corey is drinking. He is deeply depressed / unhappy. And that's where I was like, God damn it, you're really gonna do it. Yep. You're gonna go, it's super necessary, we have to totally be like the boy, the girl, they are inseparable.
And going, the only solution he can think of is, well, if you're going to marry someone, you should marry me. And going, there are other solutions. I will support you in not marrying them or anyone if that's what you want. It's that thing of, I keep talking about it. I feel like I'm playing that broken record here. There's this thing where somebody goes, you have a problem. Let me offer you a specific solution that I've come up with to it. And they don't ask you basically what you want to do, what kind of help you need. They just tell you, here's how I'll fix your problem.
You mean... this weird sort of submissive, I have the solution, do my thingy, you don't have any opinions or life on your own, I know what you need.
I know what
you need. Here, let me crawl into your pants, I know what you need.
I have a wedding ring. Alright, see? He did vanish, I told you, he turned invisible for a moment, it's the same spot.
Have you been drinking today? No!
Stressed out.
Just think about it, okay?
I mean, I could literally
marry
in some ways, anyone other than them.
While that is a thing to be concerned about, there is also some level of dismissiveness involved there going, have you been doing drugs? Are you under the influence? Because you can't rationally be thinking of this thing. Why would you ever be submitting that as a potential solution? You must be off your rocker in some way because that's not a normal response.
Right, so Small asking if he's drinking feels derogatory.
It kind of
on the other hand, Small has behaved as though she thinks his drinking is, in a really derogatory fashion towards his drinking behavior, very unsupportive. Not like you need to support someone in their drinking, but you need to support people when they have a problem.
Right? Let alone the fact that she actually physically assaulted him. And again, in regards to, and I'm talking about physical assault and the fact that she did smack him at one point like that. Everybody goes, it's the cute sibling thing in anime. And
we threw water on him instead. The option was to slap him or to throw water on him.
We threw water because it was the nicest thing we could.
Because it was the less aggressive, but it's still an assault.
Yes.
Anyway, I feel like this scene is, 1, really forced, and 2, again, what kind of friends were we when, we started this game? When we first met Small as readers, what kind of friends were Corey and Small?
Right.
How well did they know each other? And are they really saying that this friendship was really just a weird facade for him trying to get into, or to earn the relationship that is the romantic relationship?
Right?
Because that seems to be written a lot, where basically that there's this expectation that if a man is friends with a woman, and the woman is single and the man is single, that he's not, or even if, if he's just single, basically.
Right.
That he is being friends with her to eventually earn his way into a relationship with her, not because she is worth having in his life, even outside of, or without a romantic context.
Right?
Like, two of my best friends are men. I mean, and like, as they've gone through different relationships, like, it's never been an issue of, I am after you, I'm trying to get you, or anything. Like, and that is extremely exceptional, because most of the men that I have known, if I hang around with them as a friend for long enough, there will be the, hey, we should be together.
Especially because, you identify as a woman, and I identify you as a woman, you should be
or there's
potentially an
experience,
option for me.
Or if they're involved in a long-term relationship, it's the, unless I show up with a partner, I can't be their friend, because, that's inappropriate for a woman to be a man's friend if he's involved.
Right.
And while I understand where people are coming from in a conceptual, I don't want my partner to get confused or have an experience of going, if the only way you can be friends with women is to be in a relationship with women, and he's trying to have a woman friend while he's in a relationship with a woman, then that's going to be complicated romantically.
Right.
And so if that's what your socialization has been, or just having that sort of gut feeling of going, yeah, but it has to be appropriate and guarded,
right,
is a socialized thing.
But
at the same time, I feel like anyone should be able to be friends, and if they're having an experience where friendship isn't working, they should be able to talk about it.
Right.
Even if it's really candidly going, I'm getting confused being around you all the time because I have a lot of feelings and I'm not used to being alone with someone of the opposite gender that I'm not interested in.
Right.
Like, I've had one friend be super candid that way, be like, I am not used to this.
Right.
And we went, okay, I'm not super used to it either. Let's talk about that.
Right. And it was actually, I heard about the sort of like fallout, as it were. It wasn't bad fallout at all. It was an interesting, basically, like breakdown and conversation they ended up having. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm really glad you guys were able to actually sort through that experience, because it was a socialized experience of going, well, when you have a man and a woman and they're alone and they go away on a trip and they just end up doing things, and it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. It was great. And it was a lot of fun. And it wasn't awkward either, but the conversation did come up going, this is a social expectation, whether through fantasy or reality precedent, of this is a thing that often happens. Anyway.
And people talk about it actually a lot, of going on, I went away on a vacation and I got laid 900 times,
or I just suddenly had this involvement with my friend, and it's not lasting after vacation, but this thing, just like the romance, the trip, it was so intense over there.
Yeah, even I've heard about it a lot, too.
All right, here we go.
We wouldn't get married right away, of course. We could get engaged first. I'm trying to crack funny.
But my dude, if the idea is that I'm married so I can't get married, then I would have to marry you immediately.
Right? Because, by the way, engagements can end.
Because engagements can end, and some people can be, like, tentatively engaged to, like, 5 different people, and they have to choose.
Right.
It just depends on, like, your standards and things like that.
Right.
That might sound super foreign, but it depends on where you are, actually. You can have many suitors. And yes, in a lot of places, once one of them proposes engagement and you accept, but there are other places where it's essentially, you have an engagement to all of them until you choose.
Which is also actually really interesting, especially in regards to engagement culture anyhow. Some people, I've read stories where they're like, I actually literally got tied into an engagement because somebody proposed to me in the middle of a public space and I wasn't allowed to say no.
Yes, and so you're
in some ways, engagement culture also can be wielded almost in some ways as a weapon.
It's a fascinating thing. Anyway, we could get engaged first. And me going, dude, we have a lot of troubles. Corey.
You can take your time to think about the kind of wedding you want.
What if I don't want to get married at all? Corey?
I could save up some money for a house because I haven't been doing that. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things that I think is really funny sometimes, when there are guys who are going, I don't understand, nobody wants to marry me, blah, 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 whatever. And there's just a slow turnaround, and you look at them and go, do you have money saved up? What? Do you have a stable job? Are you well-dressed, hygienic? Are you actually interesting to talk to?
Do you have a bed
to be
that two people can fit in?
Right?
Have you made space in your life for the partner you want? If she shows up at your house, does it look like you're waiting for her and ready to receive her?
Then this goes really honestly for anyone. You're going like, nobody wants me. It's like, have you made time or thought to actively include the space of someone else? What that actually looks like physically. Let alone monetarily, of like the expectations for, do you know what you want out of a relationship? What are you looking for? Do you guys need to share like the same bed or have separate beds, or what are you doing? That's again.
And the thing is it can be one of those things where when someone meets you, they're going to engage in a lot of like essentially subconscious social cues. They aren't usually aware of all the things they're measuring you on, or all these social essentially tropes that they're being told when they meet you. But there's a level of like how you dress, how you present yourself, what you explain your job is, what you do your schedule, like everything that suggests who you are. And it gives them, based on their interpretation of this algorithm, an idea of who you are. And then they get to know it more. But a big thing can be, if you're thinking about a long-term relationship with someone and you bring them to your house and you live in a tiny little, single bedroom with 4 other roommates, you're probably not in a position to support a partner. On the other hand, if you approach it from that angle of going, hey, I've basically been really living beneath my means, or I'm barely making it, but with a partner, because I have a good financial plan, I can make that difference. They have actually done a lot of studies, and most people who have to file bankruptcy, like private individuals, $200 a month would have made the difference for them, where they would not have to file. Period. It is just that $200 extra they cannot make.
And this is coming from my friend who's actually been through a bankruptcy on their own, and also has lived in fairly low income compared to a lot of the United States. So that doesn't mean that we're financial advisors by any stretch of the imagination. Anyways, but it just means that based off of our experiences.
The thing is that in a capitalistic society, but in a world that deals with monetary commerce, you have to think about money in reference to a relationship. And it's not just, here's how I'll plan on providing for you. It's how do we both like dealing with money? How do we both expenditure our stuff? How do we both also spend our time, though, as well?
By the way, when you're dating someone, I really feel like having those discussions is really important. Talking more than just about your fandoms or the things you like. It's also like, what do you do every single day? How do you spend your money? Even though you might not necessarily want to be that abrupt. It depends, obviously, on the person you're talking to. But those things are actually important. Again, finding out, what's your job situation like? What are your goals in your life? What would you like to do, kind of thing. People go, oh, those are terrible questions. It's like, but they're really important. If you're going, I'm going to be your civil, your civil union spouse, partner, right? Your civil union partner. What is this situation going to look like?
And the thing is a lot of people don't realize how important that is. And there's a lot of experience of going, oh, we moved in together when we were so in love, and then suddenly everything went to hell. And it's because you have completely different habits for keeping the house. You don't have any division of labor. You don't have ways you spend your time. One of you expects that when you're both in the house together, you're going to hang out with each other. The other one goes, I spend most of my time in the house for me time. And these are kind of things, even if you can't always talk about them, it's important to spend time in each other's spaces and in your regular lives to know what it looks like.
This is, again, though, why we say it's much easier, for at least in our experience, to date your friends. You already have basically a language and a system set up. And
with your friends.
Yeah,
and when we say date your friends, it means if you find yourself interested in someone, become their friend.
Right?
And if you like them as a friend, and you get to know them as a friend, and I know there's a lot of this urgency, this hurry of missing out, but if I get to know them as a friend and I don't start dating them immediately, I might miss it. On the other hand, if you don't get to know them as a friend, you might not survive the dating relationship at all. Like, it might not go anywhere.
Some people go and complain. They go, I did that and I got stuck in the friend zone. It's like, well, yeah, because you didn't change then your friend thing. Go, hey, let's communicate further with my friend, and go, hey, friend, I really like you. Would you like to date me?
And sometimes they could go, you're not really my type. And you go, and you could just, at that point, go, what is your dating type? And learn something about them. But you have to be careful about that going, does it feel like I'm then going, oh, but how can I get there?
Right? That's again, like, people are not achievements.
No, they're not.
You know?
Anyway, Corey, I'm not marrying you.
No, of course not.
We get no choices in this case.
Nope, of course not. Suddenly, no choices, because the only thing we need to do in this game is date some dragons.
Some dragons, kind of. All 3 of them at
sort
once.
of not even dating.
And they're kind of taking turns hanging out with us, where each of the other 2 are supporting the third one, getting alone time with us.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which is super weird. But
I mean, it's cool. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
I like the idea of it being a cultural thing.
Right?
Basically, all of your suitors get equal part in things. And so all of you have to support that experience of equal partnership. So if you it comes to this point of one of you, has not had the time with the person that you're all, pursuing, and you make an opening, and everyone goes, oh, I got to stand back for that opening because I've had my time.
Right?
And it's your job's all to sort of work together to make sure you all get equal partnership.
Honestly, that would also be like an interesting challenge in regards to, like, so let's say the Dragon Kingdoms, obviously, because there together, were originally more at war. So they're going like, we're trying to figure out how to work with each other around this whole thing because we're also trying to actually maybe change our own history.
And then we have to make our future rulers all work together to try and romance.
We're all trying to mutually seduce you, but we're trying to sort of
help each other.
Help each other.
Support each other in it until there is a success. But in the meantime, we're all kind of developing a friendship, whether we mean to or not.
Right?
Yes.
That would be very cool.
Because a partnership, because you have to learn to work together.
Right. When these guys came along, I knew that would happen.
Were you planning on proposing to me before they came along? My dude,
sounds like it.
I was drinking because I was depressed because I didn't know how to talk to you about romance. Oh God, I'm gonna die.
I'm also, again, like, it sounds like, again, you guys had a very sibling-ish relationship before this point, which is interesting to me. I'm like, I was going to lose you before I even had the chance to tell you how I felt.
Right. How you felt?
I mean, Small.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a crush on you, Small. I'm sorry it took me so long to tell you.
And, yeah, because you didn't even tell me before you proposed. Damn. And they make him look really happy about it. It's fine, because I've now at least gotten my feelings out. Which is cool. Like, if you actually are getting a cathartic experience in yourself from just getting your feelings out, that's cool. But I don't feel like that's exactly what they're going for here.
No, I don't either. I'm kinda glad I finally did it.
Corey, you're not going to lose me unless I actually move to the Dragon Kingdom and you can't follow me there, which I don't know anything about, and I don't know what the
technology's like
what the technology is like, what travel back and forth is like. Seems like the dragons can travel back and forth all the time, though, so should be fine.
Yeah, but they're dragons, and as far as you know, you haven't ever had any magic, my dear Small, that you've ever been able to interact with.
And additionally, I don't know if they would actually be ferrying me across and forth, because I don't know if they had time once we're actually done with this.
Right?
I'm always going to be your best friend. That I don't know if you can promise.
I don't know either.
Because unless you stay very close in his life and continue to be very connected, or unless he is in completely isolated disaster, he may have other best friends.
Or, again, he's one of those kind of friends where sometimes you can actually have friend relationships where you don't communicate with people for months.
But that doesn't make them your best friend.
Yeah, that's true.
I will always be your friend, but your best friend.
So you could be like, I will always try to be your friend. Like that kind of thing.
A little more open, that doesn't, include an absolute promise for the rest of eternity. But that's all I'm ever going to be. Why are we apologizing? You do not need to apologize for other people's feelings.
You do not.
Or for telling them no when they ask for something. Like, it's not necessary. Right. If somebody goes, hey, do you want to kiss me? And you go, no, not really.
No thanks.
No thanks, it's okay. And they can, and they might, if someone's feeling out the tone of thing and going, God, can I kiss you? Because it feels like they're in that space, and you're like, no. They can just be like, oh, we're not in that space. And you don't really have to get offended by it. But it can also be an experience inside yourself going, I misinterpreted that, and I'm going to have to deal with that in me.
Right?
But you don't have to apologize.
It could be an apology, though, of also going, I literally have been a shitty friend. Maybe of, I didn't recognize what was going on. That's the thing that's been bothering me. I'm going, Small, you are sometimes as dumb as a brick. I was really, just going, you're really, your friend, and he's drinking, and he's having all this, but you like me? Blah! And you're just I'm going to slowly suffocate you under this pillow with obviousness!
The pillow of obviousness.
Yes!
Shove it in your face.
And I totally get the thing sometimes where some people really aren't confrontational because they don't want to deal with the fallout. It is an actual problem because also there's a lot of shaming that goes on in regards to someone going, but I love you. And you don't respond, or whatever it might be.
Or you don't respond the way that might be expected.
Right.
So I love you can be an incredibly weighted statement, especially in American culture. I don't know about other cultures, where it's very much used as if you don't respond in kind, in most contexts, it's considered rude or mean or inappropriate.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be. In the same way that if someone says, God, you're such a good friend to me, and you kind of go, we're not really friends, but that's okay.
Right.
I have still done nice things for you. One of the things that I have trouble with is work friends going, we're not friends. We're coworkers that get along well.
Right.
We do not know each other at all. On the street, out in the world, at all. So to me, we're not friends. But I'm not saying we're not friends as an insult. I'm just literally describing the fact that if we met on the street, we're strangers except for our job.
Shockingly, as wild as the American English language is, we have sometimes very few words to describe different levels of friend, as it were.
Or different levels of relationship.
Or camaraderie.
Anyway, I like the idea that she's apologizing essentially for not doing very good by him. for not, being a very good friend, or for not understanding where he was coming from and thereby building a better relationship with him around the awareness that he was having a different experience than her.
Right.
And kind of thing.
Like, I could see it as that, but I totally get your point, too, of being like, there is a problem that I find particularly with girl or women-aligned characters, where they really do seem to apologize for goddamn everything.
Yes.
And it's very frustrating.
And it is okay to apologize if you feel compelled to, but you don't need to feel compelled to. So if you feel like you're doing it too often, then you might examine yourself and go, why do I feel like I need to do this? Right. But again, no, it shouldn't also be a problem, because I have some friends who apologize compulsively, and I try not to shame them for it. I let them know that they don't need to, but not stop apologizing.
I definitely did do that, especially a lot more, I remember, because I was also, like, I still have some PTSD that I'm dealing with, and a lot of shame and a lot of anxiety. So you apologize a lot, typically because you're afraid of being hurt, or that, you something will be irreparable, and if you don't apologize first, something is definitely
will go
wrong.
bad.
Yeah.
I hope you can understand.
It's okay. I'm not surprised. And yet I was surprised, therefore I went to go drink. And that's fine. I'm not having a conflict of character at all. I know I'm not the one you really like.
If
this is going to be an ending,
hang on. If I am the one you really like, I mean, if you know who, you're not the one, who is the one which you knew about before the dragons appeared? Uh-huh. Who is the one I really like? Me.
I wrote it in my book.
Revealing my secret crush online. Ha!
Ha! Just promise you won't let this come between us? Can we still really just be friends?
Actual friends. Yeah, that would be fine. Of course not. I won't let it come between us. You bet.
Sorry to interrupt, but what is this dating thing exactly?
I appreciate that was an intensely close moment, but I need to ask this question.
Also, that it got really silly and you decided to completely tone change, so you know what? Thank you for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you being here and spending time with us, especially during this coronavirus quarantine. Yes. It is greatly appreciated. We appreciate, your time. If I can say that 99 more times, take a shot every time.
No,
so
don't
if
hit
you
yourself.
like what we do, if actually you would like to support us, though, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share our videos with people you think would like our content and would enjoy it, or could just benefit from basically us having fun with critique and analysis in regards to basically app games, which I feel a lot of people misrepresent and also don't get a lot of attention because everybody just goes, it's an app game.
I go, app literature. We did recently discussed that one of the biggest criticisms levied at our channel is that we don't play interesting games. And if 1 million people are downloading it, must be interesting
to
somehow.
To
someone. Lily's Garden must be interesting to someone if 10 million people have downloaded it.
Right?
So,
or My Mystic Dragons or the entire genre of Otome must be interesting to somebody.
If you're getting, millions of downloads on each one of them. On the other hand, if you do find that there's like a fun quote or a good piece of extrapolation that you think would help one of your friends or would help you kickstart a conversation, because sometimes it's just hearing someone else bring something up and then you have words to talk about it yourself, you can feel free to use it for that.
Right, absolutely.
Other than that, we love comments if you want to interact, and
feel free to actually go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We've got links down below. We've also got Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Tumblr. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!